Hello, and welcome to another Minisode by Smart Women Read Romance. Now, for our last Minisode, we did our top book boyfriends, and now we're going to give the girls some love because,
Girl power.
Girls are amazing. So, same format as last time. We each have 5 of our top girl crushes and then 3 honorable mentions. And yeah, to start us off, do you have any thoughts on what do you think for us makes a heroine girl crush worthy? Like, is there any like certain requirement, or is it just
okay? So
feeling?
One thing that I find super smexy in a woman is her confidence and her belief in herself.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean she has to be outwardly snarky or arrogant or anything like that. Just believing in herself.
We both have at least one. You have 2, I would say. I definitely have one that would be considered have like a quieter personality and more of like an inner strength than an outward, boisterous, exuberant, balls to the walls kind of personality.
You can be an introvert and still be totally strong woman.
Yes, exactly. I think also whenever I'm describing one of the heroines that I like really love, I label them as badass, and I think badass sometimes is like equated to like hard ass or something, but it's really not.
Yeah, we think like she's like whipping out a sword and lopping off heads.
Exactly. But that's
which she could be.
She could be, definitely. But it's not a requirement to be a hard ass to be considered a badass. You can be a badass in your own right.
Absolutely.
I just think that you have to like definitely be confident in yourself, and I just don't really enjoy heroines who are really down on themselves.
Yeah. And and it doesn't matter to me like we all have flaws, we all have, none of us are perfect.
I expect my heroines to have flaws, and
exactly.
I think that's what makes them interesting.
Confidence despite like whatever issues are going on, just believe in yourself and go for it,
Agree. Confidence is just very sexy. I like that. I like that answer.
High five.
Did you find it more difficult to pick your top heroes or your top heroines, or were they both the same difficulty?
God. I think I still had a little bit harder time on the guys, but to be quite honest, I made a last minute adjustment on the girls.
I also made a last minute adjustment on the girls. But
you're so stingy with your
I think that's why. I found it harder to pick my top heroines because I tend to be a little bit harder on my girls.
Definitely.
And I don't know, maybe it's because mostly in romance, it's written in a girl's point of view. If it's not dual POV, it's going to be from the girl's point of view. I really have not read anything that's solely the man's point of view.
Right. I think maybe because we're women, we're harder on the women.
Right. Exactly.
Like
and I'm
we expect more.
Yes. And I think maybe because usually I put myself in the place of the heroine, and like if I was that person, I wouldn't do that, or I would do this. And
definitely.
I think I compare myself more to them.
I do that a lot.
So maybe that's why I'm more hard, and I'm just like, but is she the best?
Yeah. Right. You could do better. You could totally do better than her.
So, all right. Well, let's get into it. A few stats before we talk about our amazing girl crushes. Interestingly enough, just like in our book boyfriends, so funny. Juliet writes paranormal, but 4 out of her 5 are contemporaries.
You've created a monster.
I have. I claim full responsibility for this change in her. And also, they're pretty much all recent reads for you, I would say. Like, you've read these books in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. 3 out of 5 of mine are paranormal, just like with the book boyfriends. It's hilarious. I love it. It's just so funny to see it all like listed out there.
Yeah, it's true.
Then it's like,
it's crazy.
You learn about yourself.
It's so funny how, not that I was anti-contemporary, but I was just like, it just doesn't interest me as much. I'm just more interested in like historical. We had the
same kind of prejudice going into contemporary. I also thought though, before I got into like really deep diving into contemporary, I also kind of thought all contemporary was like Nicholas Sparks and Nora Roberts, which no knocks on them or anything. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
No, because that's not really romance. It's not an HEA. It's,
Right.
And so, to be honest with you, that's one reason I kind of stayed away from contemporary, because I thought it was all like this super heavy, serious, I don't want to read that. you know?
That's not what we're interested in personally. Yeah. So I agree. There are two names that appear on both of our lists, which I'm so happy about. We often like the same things, but it's really fun to see the differences and why we pick different people. So let's get started. I guess I'll go first, since you got the first book boyfriend last episode, last minisode.
Are we going from like our bottom list up, or are we going top bottom?
I'm going to go top bottom, like our first.
Yeah.
First. So for my top girl crush, I gave it to Kate Daniels from the Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews.
Yes.
She is just so amazing.
I do love her.
She has so many great qualities, and she has flaws as well.
Yeah.
And just like we said, I mean, if she's perfect, she's not interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I just like the way that she's been raised to be so isolated, but she is not hardened toward people.
She's not unkind.
No, she's not. She's very sympathetic towards people, even though she's been trained do not form connections with people. They're a liability. She still opens her heart to so many people, and she wants to protect so many people.
She's very loyal.
Yes, she's extremely loyal and protective of those that she loves, and she often finds herself in binds because of that. She always wants to put herself on the line for others, and I just really like her character, and I like being in her head. I mean, it's a 10-book series. You have to like a person.
And you've read the whole series. I've read 4. I'm about to start 5.
Right.
So, and I love her. I really do too. She was a close runner-up too.
She's so good. Yeah. She's so good. Yeah. So who's your first?
So mine is Jessica St. James.
Yeah, Penny Reed.
Penny Reed. Go figure. From Truth or Beard. And so this sounds crazy. The reason I love her so much is she reminds me a little bit of myself. She's kind of crazy. She's got like these crazy thoughts, but the thing about Jessica St. James is she just says them, and then like wearing sexy Gandalf, you know, that's like, I love that. She's totally unafraid.
She's definitely confident.
Yes,
she's definitely confident.
She's more confident than I am, but I just love that about her. She takes more risk. Yes, I just love her. She's just Jessica, you know? Yeah,
I do. I really enjoy her personality too. My second girl crush is Charlie Davidson and if you would listen to our book boyfriends, a lot of the heroines from the books that our book boyfriends are on here.
Are also in here.
So it's just great writing, great story that also lends itself to, you know, the great characters are what make the story. So it's not really a surprise that they appear on this list. So Charlie Davidson, she's kind of similar to Kate Daniels, but the thing is, more of her struggle is kind of internal because she is a Grim Reaper. So she has to deal with seeing like dead people and like basically kind of sounding like an oddball. She has to deal with these people trying to cross through her, and not being able to really talk about it with other people besides Cookie, which I love Cookie. She's a great sidekick. And she's just awesome. And her Uncle Bob. But she also wants to help people. She's a detective, and she's constantly, she's helping, you know, dead souls cross, try to figure out what their last purpose is. And she's also solving crime. And she is just this upbeat, hilarious person who's also obsessed with coffee, which the things that they come out with about being obsessed with coffee, I can relate to so much. So I just find her to be a relatable character, not necessarily like me in any respect besides the coffee, but I just find her very fun to read about.
I know, and I feel bad because she might have made my list, but I haven't read enough of her. I've only read one book. I know.
I will get you on this train.
I know. I mean, I really liked her from the first book, but I haven't read beyond that. So I got to get moving.
You have a ton of on your TBR anyway. So, okay. So the second one, which we share this, you have.
My second one is your third.
Yes.
So my second and her third is Jennifer Sylvester.
Yes.
Cletus's lady.
This is one of the characters I was talking about that has more of an inner strength than
definitely
anybody looking on the outside would be like, oh, she's a strong person. But the things
a lot of
that
them
she
look at her
goes
as sort of
through,
a doormat, you know,
right?
And don't really see her true self. But she has like endured a lot.
Oh yeah,
you know, just surviving her parents.
And still being a cheerful person.
Yes, that's what I mean. When I say survive, person. I mean she has such a hopeful outlook on life. and still, has some confidence in herself, but despite, all
Right.
that's
It's
going on
just
around her.
her hero, Cletus, brought out that from her even more, like brought out more
Yes.
confidence in her. And she stood apart from him at the end of the novel. Like she doesn't
Standing
need
on her
anybody
own,
else. She was
right.
standing on her own. And I just really enjoyed reading about her transformation.
I did too.
It was such a great transformation.
It was such a good feeling, and we just love Cletus and Jennifer.
Yeah, they're just
We
awesome.
can't
I
help
can't wait
it.
for their spinoff series.
Yeah. So my third is Sal Casillas.
Yes.
From Colty.
Colty.
Mariana Zapata.
She's also an inherently kind person. So I guess maybe
Exactly.
that's a requirement also for it to be.
I really like the kind ones.
We don't like catty girls.
Yeah.
Or-
I mean, I like characters that have a little bit of like a snarky personality, but not in a mean way.
right.
Do you know what I mean?
And nobody like intentionally hurting.
Right. But Sal, she just has such a good heart.
She really
always
does.
is trying to like help other people and very selfless.
She is very selfless. I think also her family dynamic is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. It's
Just
hilarious.
her relationships with her dad is pretty much one of the best things about Colty.
That's one of the best dad-daughter
It really is. Like I could read a whole series with just them like
them
on a
two.
road trip or something.
And Colty popping in and making him
Colty
hysterical.
calling or something.
And making him like cower in the corner and whisper sweet nothings.
Oh gosh, yeah, that would be great.
That was a fun episode to talk about that.
That was. I love it.
Yep.
Okay, so my fourth one is Nevada Baylor, which is another Alona Andrews creation. This is also the fifth person on Juliet's list.
Nevada's my number 5.
Yes. Nevada also, she is another person that has a lot of familial ties, and her whole purpose, her whole journey in her books is to support her family.
Yes.
She's doing all these
Yes.
things in her books to support her family because she is the breadwinner.
Yep.
And she just puts
And
her
that's why I
life
love
on the
her.
line.
Her loyalty to her family is just awesome.
She's so protective of her mother. I mean, her mom would technically, I guess you would consider, like looking from the outside, be like the matriarch of the family, but it's
Yeah.
really not. It's Nevada. Nevada is
Yeah.
the one leading her family, making
Absolutely.
decisions in the end for her family, and she will put her life on the line for
Yeah.
them.
And she's funny. She's funny as hell.
She is
I
funny.
love her inner voice.
She's like brave too, even in the face of like danger, and it's kind of a little bit bravado. Just
even like up against Mad Rogan sometimes. You know?
right, exactly, and like
Ooh, Mad
and still
Rogan.
like
Sorry.
inside. Oh, Mad Rogan.
Just got a little
But
sidetracked.
still inside, even if she's scared, she still does not let that detract her from her
Agreed.
goals. And I just really admire that. I wish I could be more like that.
Yeah, I definitely wish I could be. And I think that's what I don't know. We seem to pick characters like we want to be like them, and some of the things that we have.
I think
familiar
that's
qualities
yeah.
with.
I think that's fair to say that. You definitely have to admire them. I guess
Yeah.
for guys, it's different. It's like, do you want to fuck them? And then for girls, it's like, do you want to be them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Nevada
Okay.
Baylor's got Mad Rogan. I'm down with that.
Yes.
Sal's got Colty. I'm
Yes.
totally down with that. Jennifer's got Cletus, and Jessica has Dwayne. I'm good with mine.
It's
so far.
amazing. Yeah.
And I'm definitely good with my number 4.
I would, yeah.
So my number
So-
4 is Lucy Hutton, which is the heroine in The Hating Game with Joshua Templeman, who was one of my top guys.
And I would say Lucy's another quiet
Yes.
heroine.
Yeah, she's the quiet inner strength. And she's one, and again, I loved her transformation because in the beginning, she was letting people step on her, and Joshua kept pushing her to come, no, just tell them no. Stop saying yes to everything and letting people walk on you. And she always just thought she was being kind and being selfless, but she was letting people walk on her.
She was being kind, but people were taking advantage of her
Right, they were taking
kindness,
advantage of her.
and she
Reminds me a little
wasn't
bit of
stopping them.
Anne in Play by Kylie Scott.
Right. Yes,
you know?
exactly. Being too much of a yes woman.
Yes.
And I'll stay late if it makes your life
Yes.
easier.
The other thing I really loved about Lucy was her playfulness.
Oh my
Serious
goodness. I think one of my
playfulness.
favorite scenes in The Hating Game was whenever she
The lipstick.
the lipstick, the teasing, but also whenever she was, I think that's the same scene though, whenever
Yeah.
she's describing her dream to Josh.
Yes, it's when she's describing her dream and putting on her flamethrower red
Yes,
lipstick.
it's great.
It's
And
so good.
she has that confidence because it's Josh, you know,
Yes.
because they have that
Yes.
type of relationship.
Yeah.
But I just, good Good job, Lucy. Good job. Good
And
pick.
who's your number 5?
So my number 5 is, her name is Vera Delane from The Opposite of You.
Oh, I love the book.
I loved her journey. And this was another one that had great inner strength because her past, I mean, she had every reason to want to just, cower in on herself. And she could have just become a recluse and just really not opened herself to any person after what happened to her.
Completely.
But
I agree.
she is a freaking Spitfire. I mean, she did not let that stop her. She was like, my dream is to become a chef. That did not work out. I'm being blackballed because of a relationship that I had in my past. So you know what? I'm going to open a food truck and I'm going to open it across the most popular restaurant in this town.
I cannot wait to do this podcast.
Yes, the review for this one's going to be so fun because I love the dynamic between Vera and Killian. It was
hilarious.
Amazing. And she doesn't let criticism get her down, and she still powers through on life. And I mean,
awesome enemies to lovers.
Yes, great enemies to lovers story. All right, so now we have our honorable mentions, and we have 15 seconds, around 15 seconds. I'm really not timing us.
You have a 15-second time limit.
I'm really not timing us, but just trying to get us not to fangirl over all these and make this Minisode an hour long.
Okay.
So you can go first.
All right. So my first one was my last minute change, and I won't say what I changed it from, but I changed it to, because I just read it, Darcy Barrett in 99% Mine.
Yep. The new Sally Thorne book.
Yes. Super tough.
Yes.
Way badass. More than me. Much more than me. Completely hopelessly in love and knows it. Doesn't deny her feelings.
Right.
Even though she has to hide them a little bit.
Yeah. She hides them because she thinks it's unrequited.
I know.
So, but Darcy she jumps off the page at you.
Yes. She's so, you know what it is? She's honest. It's like, this is me and, fuck the world sort of thing.
I like her. She's definitely... She's hilarious.
I know.
Okay, so I had to put Evie Jenner on my honorable mentions list from Devil in Winter. She's another quiet one. She's a part of the Wallflower series. Yeah. But she, first of all, in her book, she takes charge of the situation. She's the one to approach a notorious rake. She needs to take advantage of her life. She is not afraid of society's opinion of her because her dad's a gaming club owner. And she's like, nah, I walked around and there was all kind of unsavory people. And whatever. Let me go take care of my dad.
Yeah.
And she makes her hero work for it. And I'm like, damn, girl. Yes. Yes. Even though he's really hot.
Yes. Oh, Sebastian.
That's why I included Evie.
That's a great one. All right, so my second, all of my honorable mentions are also contemporary.
Oh,
which
look,
is
we
insane.
have the same.
We do.
We have
number 2. We have the same one.
I didn't even notice that.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Stella Lane from The Kiss Quotient.
Yeah.
I freaking fell in love with Stella.
Oh yeah, me too. Right
Being in her head was such an amazing journey, and I just loved how she was so obsessed with Michael, but she's like, oh, don't get obsessed. Like, I know I'm obsessing and I need to not, but she liked him better than mint chocolate chip, and who can argue with that? She just awesome, and she's independent too, and she was functioning fine
again,
without
also
him.
very kind-hearted.
Yes,
and selfless,
absolutely. She was so, the way that she was so concerned about making a good impression on Michael's family was just heart-wrenching. I was like, oh, Stella.
I know. She's awesome. I really love Stella so much.
Okay, so what's your third and last honorable mention?
Yes, my last honorable mention is Vanessa Mazur from The Wall of Winnipeg by Mariana Zapata. I love Zapata's characters so much.
Zapata writes such realistic, relatable characters.
And the reason I love Van is because she's just, again, the inner strength with her. She's a very solitary person, and she's very content being a solitary person. I mean, she has a best friend, but she spends the majority of her time alone. Yeah. Working alone, living alone, until she has to live with him. But even then, she's kind of alone, because he's like the freaking Wall of Winnipeg, which is also a phenomenal book. But, and I just love that when she finally, that's one of my favorite FU scenes. Oh yeah, was in this. That's when she's scene. Like, screw this job, fuck you, here's your keys, gives them a middle finger, and he's gone.
She definitely stands up for herself.
Yes, and I love that about her. I just love that she stands up for herself. you
Me
know.
too. Good
Yeah.
choice. Good choice. So the final honorable mention for me is Sandra Fielding. She is a Penny Reed character from Love Hacked, and she is great. First of all, her introduction's hilarious.
Love Hacked.
She's a therapist. She's gone on all kind of dates, and all of her dates turn into her counseling her dates because they
and she goes to the same restaurant every time.
and it's great, and that's how she meets her hero.
Yeah.
But she also just so happens to be a Star Wars fanatic, and I'm like, me too, girl, me too.
Nerds unite.
I just love Sandra so much, her character, and the way that she's just like open to Alex and she's confident, and I just love her, even though she has every reason to be like, I'm so unlucky in love and I'm just not going to try anymore.
Yeah.
She keeps trying, and I'm like, yay, inspiration.
I know. That's a good one. God, that makes me want to reread that one. That one's so good.
Yeah, Alex is great too. So
Yeah.
I guess, just these characters are so awesome.
I know.
I think
That's
that
our girl crushes.
yeah, they're just like inspirational.
Very
Girl
inspirational.
crushes. So yeah, that concludes our little mini-sode, guys. If you have any suggestions for other mini-sodes that you want us to review, any types of like our favorite tropes or anything like that, and we'll do a mini-sode on that. So just let us know. But thanks so much for listening, and we hope you have a good morning, night, evening, whatever time of day you're listening to us.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day, Galentines Day.
Yes.
Woohoo. All right, guys, life's better with a little HEA. Keep on reading some romance novels.